group in St. James, Assiniboia here has about 15 active members currently. We're volunteers appointed by the councillors. We meet once a month and we serve voluntarily. My name is Bill Jurens and I'm the chairman. In order to speed things up, I will give only a short summary of our report that we made to the councillors and submitted to them some time ago concerning the proposed DS-Lea report and the findings in there. We did make an extensive list of pros and cons on the bridge. We did go through extensive attempts to obtain up-to-date information on the project and to fully understand its impact on the community. As part of our study of the situation, we invited representatives of DS-Lea, the City of Winnipeg, and various citizens groups to our meeting in January '88. And we have since then had monthly and often bi-weekly updates on the progress of the project, or the proposed project. We had an extensive discussion of the bridge corridor concept at our meeting of 2 May 1988. What's very interesting is that the RAG opinions and concerns that were expressed at our meetings are almost exactly the same as the ones that were expressed in the DS-Lea report on a percentage basis. This was very satisfying to us because, of course, that's what RAG is supposed to do. I'll just read our summary quite quickly. While it is true that the majority of the residents' advisors agree that a new link across the Assiniboine River is necessary and desirable, it is equally clear that a large majority of RAG members appear to be more or less dissatisfied with the plan as it currently stands. We listed the pros, cons, and alternatives to a Morey Street bridge crossing at length at our meeting of May 2nd, 1988. On the pro side, it is obvious that an additional bridge across the Assiniboine would improve access for all types of vehicles, including those providing emergency services, that it would provide closer links with our neighbors to the south, and that would probably be in the best interests of the business community in St. James. At least one member suggested that the cost of the proposed corridor and bridge, as understood at that time, was not too high for the community to bear, especially when it was kept in mind that the allocated funds, if not spent here, would likely only end up somewhere else. On the con side, a number of resident advisors expressed doubt that the concerns of the residents immediately adjacent to the proposed corridor had been adequately addressed. Some questioned whether an adequate study as to the environmental effects of the proposed bridge and corridor had been done. Almost all of the resident advisors expressed concern that the increased traffic that would be generated by the proposed corridor would compound existing traffic problems on Portage Avenue and various other feeder streets throughout the St. James area, with the improved links to the south rendering east-west traffic in St. James more difficult than it already is. Several noted the apparent, and I stress apparent, conflict of interest in having DS-Lea both prepare the preliminary study and be eligible to build the final corridor if construction proceeds. Some felt that an additional community input would be desirable. Some felt were concerned with issues of pedestrian safety. Others expressed an opinion that the cost-benefit ratio of the proposed project would not make it worthwhile to proceed. Although some members of the RAG are hardly in favor of the proposed bridge and corridor, in general, the resident advisors have expressed various degrees of dissatisfaction with the consultant's report and its findings. The general thrust of these criticisms tend to suggest that they feel that the proposed bridge and corridor is much bigger and more expensive than it really needs to be. As alternatives, the resident advisors suggested the construction of 2 smaller bridges instead of 1, of using Sturgeon Road as an alternative route, of restricting the bridge to cars and light trucks only, and of constructing the bridge only after the Silver Avenue corridor had been completed. I will read in a motion that we made at our meeting on May the 2nd. At its meeting of May the 2nd, 1988, the Residents Advisory Group passed a motion that RAG support the most cost-efficient, low-level bridge design linking Roblin Boulevard and Portage Avenue, and note this does not indicate a bridge necessarily at Morey, that bridge be controlled so as to allow the passage of cars, buses, and emergency vehicles, but not heavy transport trucks. And it also suggested that the proposed bridge and corridor be constructed only after the east-west traffic problems in the St. James Assiniboia area were identified and corrected. Thank you.